And this year, we are pleased to present this award to Mr. Paul Gross. An award-winning actor, writer, producer, director, and singer, Paul Gross is a tireless promoter of Canadian culture. His outstanding work in theatre, television, and film, notably Passchendaele, winner this year of 6 Genie Awards, including Best Motion Picture, his work has garnered international acclaim. Mr. Gross has performed at major theatres across Canada, including the National Arts Centre, and notably he played the title role in Hamlet to sold-out performances at Stratford. Your Excellency, Mr. Paul Gross.
Excellencies, Ms. Foster, distinguished guests. Michael Joseph Dunn was my grandfather. He was born in Southern Ireland towards the end of the 19th century, and his family emigrated to Canada. He went to work in the mines in Cape Breton, and they hated being underground. So they got on a harvest train. They went west. They got out in Calgary. And the harvest was over. It was 1915. War was raging. He walked down Main Street, and he ran into an old friend of his from Cape Breton, a guy he knew by the nickname of Pickle. And he said, well, Pickle actually said Crook, because it's my grandfather's nickname. Where is it you're going? And my grandfather said, well, Pickle, I have it in my head. I'm going to go buy a new suit. And Pickle said, why the hell would you want to buy a new suit? King George will give you one for free. So they went and drank some whiskey, and then they went and enlisted in the Canadian Expeditionary Force and went off to fight the First World War. I don't think Pickle ever did come home. My grandfather did, however. He was wounded 3 times. He served pretty much the duration of the war. The 3rd time badly enough that he was invalided out and sent home. I don't think he spoke very much with anybody about his time in the war. Certainly didn't speak to his 5 daughters or to his wife, but he had this grandson, me, that was relentlessly irritating, who would pester him constantly with sort of idiot questions like, what's it like to kill a German? Is it really fun to bayonet a German? And most of the time he'd kind of ignore this. And one day we were fishing for pike on Tilley Lake in southern Alberta, and he started to talk. I was about 15. And the story he told me formed the germ of the idea for the film called Passchendaele. He bayoneted a young German boy for, as he said, no particularly good reason. Over the many, many years that have intervened till we finally made that film, I think I slowly came to understand not only more about that war, perhaps, more about our country, but I think something about the instructive and productive and practical power of art. That a man late in his life tells a boy a story about the formative period of his life that in turn becomes a formative event in that boy's life. And I don't think I think I'm okay to say that everyone who worked on that film drew a closer understanding of our own country, came to understand that perhaps much of what it is we mean when we call ourselves Canadian was actually forged in the slaughter yards of the Western Front. And I'd like to say that this is an extraordinarily humbling and a great honor to receive this, but I'm not sure it rightly belongs to me. I think it belongs to everyone involved in that film. And more importantly, I think it belongs to the 620,000 men and boys who fought in the First World War, to the over 1 million who served in the Second World War, to the hundreds and thousands of men and women who have served in our peacekeeping operations around the globe, the war in Korea, and most importantly, I think, to the men and women who are currently serving in the sands of Afghanistan today. There is a direct line from the CEF of 1914 to 18 through to our soldiers in the modern Canadian forces, and I would like to accept this on behalf of them, and thank all of you.